Imagine for a moment a man standing before a crowd, the weight of a medal pressed into his palm. But this is no ordinary honor. This is not a medal for courage, nor for selfless acts in the face of danger. Instead, it is a symbol of something far more disturbing, a recognition not for heroism but for acts of unspeakable brutality. The applause that follows is hollow, echoing through a hall heavy with the memories of pain and loss. What does it mean when a society chooses to celebrate violence, to reward those who have inflicted suffering? This unsettling reality is playing out in the heart of the Balkans, a region still haunted by the ghosts of its recent past. Here, Vinko Pandurević, a name that sends chills down the spines of survivors, was recently honored in a public ceremony. For many, his name is synonymous with war crimes, a dark chapter in the history of the Balkans that refuses to close. Yet in this moment, he is celebrated, his crimes seemingly forgotten, or worse, forgiven. The ceremony is somber, the air thick with unspoken tension, as if the land itself remembers what so many wish to forget. This is a story that delves deep into the darkest corners of war, a story about the consequences of violence, about justice that is too often delayed and sometimes denied altogether. It is about the long, unyielding shadow that conflict casts over generations and the wounds that refuse to heal. In the aftermath of war, the search for accountability becomes a battle of its own, fought in courtrooms and in the hearts of those left behind. The question lingers: can there ever be true justice for such crimes, or only the illusion of closure? Vinko Pandurević, often called the Beast of the Balkans, is no ordinary soldier. His reputation is built not on acts of valor, but on a legacy of terror. He is a man whose name is spoken in whispers, whose presence evokes fear and anger in equal measure. To some, he is a war hero, to others a symbol of everything that went wrong during those dark years. His story is a reminder of how easily the lines between right and wrong can blur in times of conflict, and how dangerous it is when those who should be held accountable are instead celebrated. Pandurević stands accused of orchestrating unimaginable horrors during the Bosnian War of the 1990s, a conflict that tore apart the fabric of society and left scars that are still visible today. Under his command, entire towns were reduced to rubble, and the cries of the innocent were drowned out by the sounds of gunfire and explosions. The world watched in horror as reports of atrocities emerged, yet for many victims, justice has remained out of reach. The legacy of these crimes continues to haunt the region, shaping the lives of those who survived and the generations that followed. Thousands of innocent lives were lost, families torn apart, and entire communities shattered under his command. The pain of those years lingers in every abandoned home, in every tear shed by those who lost loved ones. For the survivors, the wounds are not just physical but emotional, deep scars that time alone cannot heal. As medals are handed out and history is rewritten, the world must not forget the true cost of war nor the importance of seeking justice, no matter how long it takes. The Bosnian War stands as one of the most devastating and haunting chapters in the history of modern Europe. Beginning in 1992 and lasting until 1995, this conflict tore apart the fabric of Bosnia and Herzegovina, leaving behind a legacy of pain, destruction, and deep-seated mistrust. The war was marked by relentless violence, the destruction of entire communities, and the shattering of families who had once lived side by side in relative peace. In towns and villages across the region, neighbor turned against neighbor as ethnic tensions that had simmered for decades erupted into open hostility. The violence was not just between armies, but among civilians. Friends, colleagues, and even relatives found themselves on opposite sides of a brutal divide. The world watched in horror as reports of massacres, forced expulsions, and systematic campaigns of terror emerged from the heart of the Balkans. Among the key figures in this conflict was Vinko Pandurević, a commander in the Bosnian Serb army. As a high-ranking officer, Pandurević played a pivotal role in orchestrating military operations that would have devastating consequences for thousands of innocent people. His leadership and decisions placed him at the center of some of the war's darkest moments, making him a symbol of the atrocities that unfolded. Under his command, entire communities were uprooted. More than 20,000 civilians, men, women, and children, were forced to abandon their homes, often with nothing but the clothes on their backs. These people became refugees overnight, driven out by a campaign of ethnic cleansing designed to change the very makeup of the region. Families were separated, lives were shattered, and the trauma of displacement would haunt survivors for generations. The aftermath of these actions was chilling. Investigators and forensic teams uncovered mass graves scattered across the countryside, grim evidence of the scale and brutality of the crimes committed. These graves held the remains of men, women, and children, innocent victims whose only crime was their ethnicity. The discovery of these sites shocked the world and became a stark reminder of the horrors that can unfold when hatred and power go unchecked. The discovery of mass graves in the aftermath of the Bosnian War sent shockwaves throughout the world. These gruesome findings served as a stark reminder of the war's brutality and the human cost of Pandurević's actions. The scars on the landscape are mirrored by the deep psychological wounds inflicted on survivors. The trauma of displacement, the loss of loved ones, and the constant fear have left an enduring mark on a generation. Despite the overwhelming evidence against him, Pandurević has never faced the full weight of justice for his alleged crimes. While some low-ranking officials have been held accountable, many key figures in the Bosnian War remain free. This lack of accountability has fueled resentment and hindered reconciliation in the region. Survivors and the families of victims are left wondering if they will ever see justice served. Adding insult to injury, in a move that sparked international outrage, the Serbian army recently awarded Pandurević a medal for his defense against NATO aggression. This decision, seen by many as an attempt to rewrite history and glorify war criminals, has further inflamed tensions in the region. It has also raised some serious questions about Serbia's commitment to reconciliation and the rule of law. The hunt for war criminals like Pandurević has been a long and honestly pretty arduous process. International forces have employed various tactics, from traditional manhunts to, sophisticated intelligence gathering, all in an effort to bring these fugitives to justice. One such attempt involved a Delta Force team actually trying to rent an apartment near a suspect's residence in Zvornik for surveillance. However, despite all their efforts, many high-profile suspects still remain at large. During his trial, Pandurević's legal team, led by British lawyer Wayne Jordash, used a variety of strategies to defend their client. They argued that Pandurević was not directly involved in the atrocities and that he was basically just following orders from his superiors. Interestingly, Jordash is known for representing other controversial figures, including Jean-Pierre Bemba of the Democratic Republic of Congo and Joseph Kony, the notorious leader of the Lord's Resistance Army. The legacy of the Bosnian War and the crimes of individuals like Pandurević, well, they continue to cast a long shadow over the Balkans. The region still grapples with ethnic tensions, political instability, and the trauma of the past. The failure to achieve full accountability for war crimes has, unfortunately, really hindered the healing process. It serves as a stark reminder of just how fragile peace can be and the importance of upholding justice. The story of Vinko Pandurević is, honestly, a stark reminder that the pursuit of justice is often long and arduous. For many, the wheels of justice turn painfully slow, especially in the aftermath of conflict, where the lines between right and wrong are blurred by the chaos of war. Pandurević's journey through the courts, the investigations, and the testimonies is not just about one man, it's about an entire region grappling with its past. The legal battles, the international attention, and the emotional testimonies all serve as a testament to how difficult it is to achieve closure after such immense tragedy. It's a story that underscores the importance of, remembering the victims of war and holding perpetrators accountable for their actions. Each candle lit, each photograph clutched in trembling hands, is a silent plea for justice. A reminder that behind every headline and every court verdict are real people whose lives were shattered. The families of the victims continue to search for answers, for closure, and for some sense of peace. Their resilience in the face of unimaginable loss is a powerful call to the world. We must not look away, and we must not forget. The process of accountability is not just about punishment, it's about restoring dignity to those who suffered and ensuring that their stories are never erased from history. Until justice is served, the wounds of the past will just continue to fester, hindering reconciliation and casting a shadow over the future of the Balkans. The scars left on the land, abandoned homes, empty villages, and the haunted eyes of survivors are a constant reminder of what was lost. True healing can only begin when the truth is acknowledged and justice is pursued, no matter how difficult or uncomfortable that process may be. The pain of the past lingers in the present, affecting generations who were not even born when the violence occurred. Reconciliation is not just a political process, it's a deeply personal journey for every individual and community touched by the conflict. The world must never forget the atrocities committed in Bosnia and must really remain vigilant in the pursuit of justice and lasting peace. Memorials like Srebrenica stand as solemn reminders of the consequences of hatred and division. International efforts, whether through peacekeeping, protests, or legal tribunals, are crucial in supporting the region's path toward healing. But ultimately, it is the collective memory and determination of people everywhere that will ensure such tragedies are never repeated. Justice is not just a legal outcome, it's a promise to future generations that we will strive for a world where peace and accountability prevail.